Full time from St James's Park. You're watching Toonami TV, the match review. It's finished. Newcastle United 1, Crystal Palace 2. That's another defeat at home. When will it end? Back to square one under this dinosaur of a manager, Steve Bruce. It's simply not good enough. We've lost to Crystal Palace. Let that sink in. Crystal Palace. Not Man City, not Liverpool, not Arsenal, not Leicester. Crystal Palace. For Crystal Palace, it's the perfect revenge when you've got Joe Linton scoring in your own backyard. Crystal Palace tonight were clinical. They taught us a lesson in finishing. That's what they've done. They've come up here tonight and they have put us to the sword. I said before the game, Crystal Palace, they've got threats. They're a good side. It's not going to be an easy game. I predicted 2-1 to Newcastle, but not the other way around. I thought we had enough about us after Everton to get a good home victory. Something we haven't had in a long time. The stats, well, we had one more shot on target than Crystal Palace, but it's not just about the stats, it's what you do on the pitch that counts. And Crystal Palace scored 2 goals and won the game. What's more disappointing is that we took the lead 1-0. We had chances, gilt-edged chances, and didn't double our lead. And in this division, if you don't double your lead, eventually the opposition in Crystal Palace are going to punish you. And they did on 2 separate occasions. We switched off, and you can't afford to do that. Because if you do that, you will concede 9 times out of 10. And we conceded 2 quick-fire goals in the space of 4 minutes. And that reminded me of the Leeds game last week. We simply cannot keep a hold of a lead. We can't even keep a hold of a draw these days. It's really embarrassing. I didn't get excited after we beat Everton 2-0. Yes, it's against Everton at Goodison Park. However, the result means nothing if you can't back it up against Crystal Palace. And I don't want to disrespect Crystal Palace because they are around us in the table. They do have quality. But when you're playing up against these sort of sides at home, you want to be getting 3 points. And I feel like we've really let ourselves down tonight in terms of we could have pulled ourselves further clear of the relegation zone. Results went in our favour tonight. Sheffield United got another win in the Premier League, beating West Brom 2-1. They weren't really endangering us. West Brom are so far behind us and so are Fulham. But now Fulham can make ground on us tomorrow when they play Liverpool. I'm not saying Fulham are going to win, but you just never know the way the season's been going. And we just seem to shoot ourselves in the foot when we look like we're turning the corner. Tonight, we've gone back to the reality of being shit. And what I'm more disappointed about is the second half. Where was the urgency? Why were we not working the goalkeeper? We had 1 shot on target that second half, and that was a Fabian Schär header. Apart from that, we were putting shots wide of the mark. We weren't even testing Guaita, the Crystal Palace goalkeeper. They would not have had an easier second half. And not only that, their best player went off the pitch with an injury, Wilfried Zaha. We brought on ASM far too late. I want to question Steve Bruce yet again. So that's no win. Oh, sorry, it's 1 win in 12 now in all competitions. Simply not good enough to be the manager of this football club, let alone the Premier League. And it's only because the bottom 3 are so worse off than us as to why he's still in the job, because he's simply not good enough. And I wasn't one of those that were saying Graham Jones was the reason why we got the result against Everton. It was the players' mentality. Well, tonight, maybe we were a bit too overconfident being 1-0 up because we had no answer at 2-1 down. ASM, why was he not starting? What is the matter with ASM to be only starting for the last half an hour of games? It's not good enough, man. He's the best player at the club and he's just sat there on the bench. And you've got Jeff Hendrick playing out wide. Why? I don't get it. This is the type of game that ASM would thrive off. Crystal Palace, an open game, end to end. Well, that's what it was first half. Second half was just a bit of a dull affair, you know. I felt sorry for ASM because he was trying to pull us back into the game. And unfortunately, there was just nothing there in the final third. Yet again. Sloppy. The formation as well. He went 4-3-1-2. Rather than 4-2-3-1, which we're used to. Or why didn't you just stick with a 4-3-3 that you used against Everton and just go again and see what happens? Steve Bruce honestly has to go, man. He cannot stay at this football club much longer. Mike Ashley's got to see it, because all it takes is Fulham to start picking up some results, then we could be caught. Just how have we managed to drop 3 points tonight against Crystal Palace? Shall I tell you why? Because it's a Newcastle thing to do. It really is. So going into the game, we'll look at the starting 11. So it was Caldalo in net, Jamal Lewis at left back, right back Javier Manquillo. The two centre backs were Kieran Clark and Fabian Schär. Then in the midfield, it was Hendrick, Hayden, Shelvey, Almiron in the number 10, Fraser and Wilson. Or you could say Almiron was out wide with Hendrick, and Fraser was sort of in a 2 alongside Callum Wilson. Anyway, going into the game, we take a lead 1-0 through John Joe Shelvey after 2 minutes. The perfect start. And it all come from a Crystal Palace mistake. Almiron wins the ball. He manages to sort of cross it into Callum Wilson. He takes full control of the ball. He manages to control it. And then he drops it onto John Joe Shelvey, who's on rushing, and he just hits it first time. A peach of a volley beyond the keeper. And it's 1-0 to the tune. Good start. Can we build on that 1-0 lead? No, we can't. It doesn't take long for Crystal Palace to get back into the game. We'll have a bright 15 minutes, but if you don't make that 15 minutes count and double your lead, then your opposition will get back into the game. Palace then do equalise through Wheelderald, and it's 1-1. Crystal Palace were playing 1-2 around the box, and it came through Valenholt on the left-hand side. He just puts a ball across to that Wheelderald, and he makes it 1-1. He literally just hits it from outside the box, and it goes beyond the defence. I think it takes a deflection beyond Caldalo, and it's 1-1. Disappointing when we could easily have been 2-0 up, and we didn't heed the warning signs. And after that, Crystal Palace on 25 minutes, 4 minutes later from when they scored the first one in the 21st minute, on the 25th minute, they take the lead 2-1 from an Eze free kick. It was just near the corner flag at the Gallagate end. He whips a ball in. Who's picking up Gary Cahill? It's a good leap, and he puts a header beyond Caldalo into the bottom left-hand corner. 2-1 to Crystal Palace, and we just shoot ourselves in the foot after a very good start. And even at 1-1, we didn't learn our lessons. And then Zaha also puts a ball in the back of the net on 27 minutes, but is ruled for offside by VAR and the flag. Fraser has the best chance before half-time. He gets put through 1-on-1 with Guaita, and Guaita makes a very good save. For me, Fraser's got to do better there. He's got to put it left or right, and I think it's 2-2. It's the biggest chance since going 2-1 down, and we go into the break 2-1 down. You're thinking, right, okay, second half, hopefully brings in ESM from the get-go, and we go for it. Or if anything, we want to see the intensity lifted. We want to see more in terms of working the keeper, because if we can get a second, equalise, get back into the game, then we've got a chance of winning it. I was saying to some mates in a group chat, we can easily make it, a 3-2 win or a 4-3, something daft like that. It was none of that. Second half was a dull affair, really. Nothing really happened. We had the best chance through a Fabian Schär header. That was the only shot on target. ASM was brought on, and Jeff Hendrick went off. A like-for-like replacement. I questioned why ASM wasn't starting the game. That was on 62 minutes, and he was trying to make things happen, but it was just not really working out for ASM. Fabian Schär, as mentioned, with a header. Not really much of that, just going over the bar. And then Gale was on for Manquillo. Quite surprised by that. Bruce taking a massive risk. Taking off your right back for a striker and leaving him wide open at the back. It's a big risk, isn't it? And then Fabian Schär had a shot which was over the bar, just summed up the second half. I mentioned the Zaha injury. Well, he went down, and he'll be gutted now that he's out for a while. I wish him a speedy recovery. I hope it's not too long. And Andy Carroll was brought on, and Kieran Clark went off, and the game just finished 2-1 to Crystal Palace. They were very professional throughout and seeing the game, and got the 3 points. So the Eagles will walk away from St James's with 3 points. I'm just gutted in a sense that we didn't build on the 2-0 victory against Everton. It's more dropped points at home. It's dropped points in general. It's not even like a point dropped. It's 3 points dropped against Crystal Palace. Shelvey set the bar in the game with that volleyed goal, and we didn't really kick on. In other parts of the game, you had Almiron. He put a free kick over the bar, but it was just, there wasn't much going on, if I'm being brutally honest. where the first half it was good, second half, yeah, it's simply not good enough. And we are 16th in the league still. I think we've gone down because of the goal difference. Brighton could go ahead of us on goal difference if they get a draw against Liverpool. Is that likely? Well, you just don't know in this Premier League. And then we'll go from there. But we've got Southampton coming up on Saturday. I believe they've just lost 9-0 to Manchester United. So what's that going to do for us? I wouldn't be surprised if we make Southampton look like Barcelona come Saturday afternoon. But we'll wait and see. But I'm not as ragey than I was because we did beat Everton, but the fact that we've dropped points tonight, it's just another reality check that Steve Bruce is simply not good enough to manage this football club, and that the Everton result was just paper over the cracks. Because if we can't back up, 3 points against Everton, against Crystal Palace, then who can we beat, in this league? It's been a weird season. Yeah, there's not much more I can say about it. Crystal Palace take away the 3 points, and they win the game by 2-1 at St James's Park. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you very much for 3,600 subscribers. I've just went over that the other day, so if you can continue to push that subscribe button. And if you want to check out all my other recent videos as well, I've just put one out today, and that was regarding the deadline day business from last night. Joe Willock and Yedlin leaving, as well as Rolanda Aarons in the window just gone. So yeah, disappointed, but we'll have to just go again on Saturday. But don't forget to hit the like button on the video. Put your comments down below what you made of the game. I guess there's not going to be too much to talk about. But anyway, in the meantime, keep yourselves safe out there. Until the preview for Southampton, how are the lads?